All right, Hutch.
How are you doing, Mark?
Great. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, you're always one of my favorite people to talk to.
That you said that the other day in an interview, and it reminded me that I need to put you in my top 5 blessings that I count every day. When you said that, it made me cry, bro. It made me cry. You saying that I am somebody that comes to your mind, right? When you think of something good. Imagine just that thought. What kind of compliment is that? When I think of this person, it helps me throughout my day. That's the most beautiful thing somebody's ever said about me, ever.
Yeah, I'm so proud that you are part of this project.
I am so proud to be a part of it. I've gotten so much out of it that I can't remember what it was like before it. Almost. Does that make sense? It's become such a big part of my life. A lot of people have, when I say a lot, I mean hundreds of people have said thank you, and to have somebody thank you just for telling your fucking soul on a camera is it's a beautiful thing that I can appreciate today, as somebody who's come from nothing, man, and been able to make a life for myself now. And with people's help, the people on this channel are unwaveringly empathetic.
The viewers.
Yeah. The people that, I pulled up in a legal car that was born in the teens, and I got it from the people that donated money to a Go Fucking Fund Me that was started that saved me and my son in a time where I couldn't save us. People reached into their, it's so hard to understand how, I'd be looking at it and my bank account would get hit with money and it would say that somebody donated $500 fucking dollars. $500 fucking dollars. I've never donated that. I just can't. But to think, and half of them were veterans that were like, hey man, I hope this helps. Oh, you hope it? It fucking helped. It fucking helped. I'm letting you guys know right now. It did more than help. It saved me when I couldn't save myself. It didn't go to drugs. It went to what you see today. It went to the best, I used it in the way that they wanted me to. I got a car. I got a place to live. I got my son in school. Nobody had to do that. Nobody had to do that. How do you say thank you for that? I don't know. I fucking love you guys, whoever did that. And the people that didn't. I'm moved, actually moved inside of myself from that. My spirit is growing based off of the love and empathy people have poured out toward me and my family. People that don't know me, that who have listened to me speak and say that it moved them. I never thought that I would be somebody that somebody wanted to listen to. I never did. My whole life, I've been told to shut the fuck up. When you're loud, right? And I'm a loud guy. You're told to shut the fuck up more than you're told, what? What'd you say? People shut the fuck up. From the moment I could talk, I was told to shut up. I believe that. I remember that. That's how I remember my childhood, at least. Just because I was an emotional kid and I had a lot to say. But in those times, kids were meant to be seen, not heard. But the amount of, so there's in life, right? We have times where we doubt what God may be, or what spirituality might be, or love. We doubt love. I can raise my right hand in testament that it is real. It is real. It's there and it's for us, and people have showed it to me. People have given it to me. Love, actual love. And I'm not saying in a relationship way. I'm saying it in just a way of how dare I not live the best version of myself while people are giving, like literally we're donating out of their own fucking, they work hard. These people work hard. I believe you guys work hard. And then they reached in their pocket and just handed it to me. I didn't have to do anything but wake up in the fucking morning. I don't know how to, thank you. I don't know how to say thank you for that. I can't describe the feeling inside of me. I wish I had better words to describe. It just brought tears to my eyes a lot. But that's not the most important thing at all, you know? That was just something that showed me that it's okay to live okay. It's okay to live okay. It's okay to be okay with myself.
A big part of that, though, is you being able to accept it. Because a lot of people, if they got donations like you got, would have screwed it up. They wouldn't feel like they deserved it. They would have spent it the wrong ways.
Right.
And they would have self-destructed further.
Right.
And the guilt and the shame from fucking it up would have
even driven them further.
Exactly.
I could have. I was there. I was on the precipice of sink or swim. And then a bunch of people handed me money and said, here, we're going to trust you with this and hope you do the right thing with it. And I did. I did the right thing with it. I made sure that myself and my family were going to be okay. I ended up going into treatment. You know,
That's just a side note. That's why I don't want to do a GoFundMe for everybody I interview, because I believe about 95% of them
could kill themselves with it.
Yeah, they could kill themselves. They could screw it up. Everyone would regret donating. It would just be bad.
Right. I can't ask anybody for anything. I've gotten everything I need. I've gotten everything I need. I wake up in the morning with literally, I wish I had something. I have a lot of memories, and I have a lot of fun stories we're going to talk about. A lot of fun stories. I want to paint a picture for people, and I'd love to call it depictions. We'll call it depictions of my perception of different human beings that I served with, and the way that they conducted themselves, and the way that they conduct themselves now. Because, believe it or not, my best friend is a guy that we nicknamed in the unit. I gave him the nickname Kalangi the Cat. His name's Brian Kalangi, okay? Now, anybody that knows this guy knows why we call him the Cat. Because he's got 9 fucking lives, okay? This is the dude who's an immigrant from the Philippines, right? And he joins the military so that he can get his citizenship. His father had moved out here for business. He moved with his dad as a teenager, not knowing shit, getting scuffed up, beat up, you know, the whole nine, trying to learn English as a little Filipino kid. This man is made of solid fucking iron. Unkillable. He's unkillable. Brian Kalangi goes to Afghanistan in 2001, like right after the war starts. Like literally 9/11, this kid's in Afghanistan 6 months later as an immigrant, right? He went to Texas to learn English. The military set him up, sends him to Afghanistan. Goes to Afghanistan. He goes to a place called Shkin, which is like no fucking joke. These guys have concertina wire is their base. See what concertina wire is? A razor wire, right? The razor wire you see, not barbed wire, but like the fucking razor blade one. That was the base. That's what protected them. 3 rows and 1 stacked on top. No armor, and they're just fucking driving up and down with an artillery piece attached to their fucking Humvee in the mountains in 2001. I can't imagine how scary that was. I imagine it was fucking scary. So the dude comes back. They have a great tour. They have a good tour. He comes back. He wants to probably go, well, let's not put him on blast too hard. So he probably wants to go enjoy his Friday night. And it might have to do with naked women. I'm not sure. Maybe just to see them, go to one of these nice facilities they have that they've set up where women get naked and then men throw money at them. To each his own. And Brian Kalangi's sitting in an ATM and he pulls $60 out and a guy sticks a gun through the sunroof of his car and says, give me that $60. And he said, what, $60? And the guy shoots him 2 times in his chest. Pop, pop, and walks away. Now, there's an immigrant fighting for our country back home, sitting in an ATM on a Friday night at 8 o'clock and gets shot twice in his fucking chest. And he says all he could remember, Brian, I love you, sorry, dude. All he could remember was thinking he's dying and he couldn't. He was passing out because he couldn't breathe. He was shot in his lung, and he couldn't breathe. And he just remembers that people were running up to the car, but they were the same race as the person that shot him. And he said the last thing he remembers is locking his fucking doors. What does that tell you? Because he didn't know who's who, but because a dude that shot him was a certain race, anybody that came up to his car was the same race. He's like, fuck this. And locked the goddamn doors. These people are trying to pull him out and help him, patch him up. He's like, fuck this. Locked the door. So that's just how I met him. This had already happened when I got there, right? So he's already healed up. They flew his family in from the fucking Philippines. Like, your kid's dying. He's having these gnarly hallucinations on morphine. He's going, and I meet him and he's a corporal. And this guy has he smokes Marlboro Reds still to this day. And it looks like he smokes like he can't get cancer. I don't know if that makes any sense, but the way he fucking smokes cigarettes is like, cancer's not an option here. Because you can just watch he's pulling on a cigarette and you can just watch the thing fucking going down and ash falling. He's one of those smokers. Like, you would think of like somebody in Egypt. You see smokers in Egypt, the cab drivers are just like, and the fucking whole thing goes. So that's Clangy the cat. So I get there and I'm like, this guy's fucking, I could tell right away. Because I'm from the city. This guy's fucking with it. This guy's with the business. I'm going to watch him. I want to be like this guy. He just made corporal, which is an NCO position, but it's a lateral promotion, which means you're still at E4. So a specialist is a rank in the Army. Let me give you the ranks, okay? From 0 to E9, you have private second class, private first class. That's E1, E2, E3. These are your pay grades as well as your rank, okay? E4 has 2 ranks. You have specialist, which means you specialize in your job now. They promote you to say that you're a subject matter expert in what you're supposed to be doing. And then you have corporal. Corporal is 2 stripes, okay? 2 chevrons. And that is a leader. So now you're a leader, but you don't get paid anymore. It's a lateral promotion. It's the worst fucking NCO position to have in the Army, because you still get treated like shit, but you have to yell at your friends, So Brian's a corporal. So anybody that's a corporal you respect, because they're in like the worst fucking position you could be in. And then you make E5, which is 3 chevrons. Now you're a buck sergeant, a sergeant. Then there's E6, staff sergeant, E7, which is sergeant first class. To remove a fucking sergeant first class's rank, it takes an act of Congress, as far as I heard. Then you have E8, which is master sergeant. Or if you're in command as an E8, you're a first sergeant, which has a diamond in between 3 chevrons up and 3 chevrons down. Above that is E9, sergeant major and or command sergeant major. The difference between sergeant major and command sergeant major is a sergeant major isn't in charge of men. But, he has probably like some sort of like a position in an office somewhere, okay? Or he's working behind the scenes. But a sergeant major, a command sergeant major, has the 3 chevrons up, 3 chevrons down with an eagle in it, right? That's how you know he's in charge of men. Usually a battalion size, which is 3 batteries. In artillery, we call them batteries, not companies. We call them sections, not squads. We have a chief, not a squad leader. Our platoon sergeants are called gunny, our gunnery sergeant, and a smoke man. They call him smoke man. Oh, okay. So I want to stay on Kalangi for a second, because our fucking kids are best friends. He has a 10-year-old son. I have a 10-year-old son. When I got my shit together this time, he wanted to be around me again. Now, this is the biggest blessing a man can have. To have somebody not only he fucking loves, cares about, cherishes, and respects, but that person wants to be in my life too. He loves, cherishes, and respects me. Somebody that never thought they were respectable. And but our kids are best friends. It's Chance and Brent, And so Kalangi, right? We go to Afghanistan the second time. For his second time, my first time. The worst shit that could happen happens to him. I don't think he lost life in Afghanistan the second time. He'll probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that. Let's move on to Iraq. So when we deploy to Iraq, he's already a buck sergeant. I make buck sergeant, right? And I made E5 in the fastest amount of time possible. I made it in just under 3 years, or about at 3 years. And Kalangi and I are good friends at this time. We leave for Iraq on something called ADVON, which is like advanced party. So in order to set up a unit before they get to where they're deploying to, they have to send like a team to make sure they find everybody, where everybody's gonna live. You lay out, you know what I mean? You get a feeling, you get a feel for the unit, everything like that. And I was in a very unique position in my unit to where I was able to be used. Basically, you could plug me in to any position we had in the unit. I qualified in all the artillery pieces. I did everything the boys did, and I worked in the background as well with the command team. So when they sent us, Brian, of course, they stick him in a fucking truck with these guys that we're about to replace. He goes on convoy and boom. Hey, the first guy, our unit's not even fucking there yet. First guy in our unit to go outside the wire gets blown up. So Kalangi's I can imagine him. This is how I imagine what happened, because the way they described it sounds and went like this. This other unit that we're taking over for is telling us. They go, your friend got fucking blown up, and he gets out of the truck and he just takes his helmet off. And he throws it in. He goes, motherfucker, why me? Why me? Always me, man. That's how he handled it. Dusted the goddamn flames off his shoulders, put his helmet back on, got in the truck and boogied. That's Brian Kalangi the cat. Then he got hit like 4 more times. He got hit like 2 or 3 more. I don't know how many times. He got attached to like some grunt unit, and he was doing like some special shit with them guys. And the dude fucking has died. Like, we get back from Iraq eventually, half of ourselves. We don't come back complete, but we came back. And Brian goes, man, I need 2 more fucking lives. And I said, why, Brian? He goes, 1 for my wife and 1 for my kid, man. Because he knew he was going to have one. So he met this beautiful girl back in the Philippines when he was visiting. And she wants to be a nurse. And guess what today? She's a fucking nurse. And she lives out here, and they had a kid, and our kids are best fucking friends. So that's Kalangi the cat, the man I respect the most out of my unit. Never heard him complain. Motherfucker, why me? That's probably that's the only time I've ever heard Brian complain. Now, never complained. When we're coming back from Afghanistan, my second tour, INS stops him. They stop him and hold him in Germany, talking about your citizenship's up. This fucking dude is on deployment. And it's like, all right, we're going home, we're done. And they hold him and this other guy, Dirty Sanchez. We call him Dirty Sanchez. He was a dude from Colombia. And he was in the Colombian army. And he was just he's just a Colombian. Beautiful man, but he was not beautiful. I mean, he looked like a rodent, but he was mean and he was fucking tough and funny. And they hold both of these guys. INS holds these guys. So we say, we're not going fucking nowhere. We'll miss flights. I don't give a shit. The whole unit got together and we talked about it. We were going to petition. Like, it was like time to write a petition. We're not fucking leaving without our guys. So it worked out. We all left together. I don't know what happened, but Brian didn't get deported. Neither did Dirty Sanchez. But that actually happened to where immigration held up 2 soldiers in another country saying they may not fucking return to the United States after 13 months in combat for it. Please, can anyone out there explain to me where the fuck they got the notion that would be okay? That it'd be okay to stop these 2 fucking men who just put their lives on the line for a year straight for a nation that's not theirs? A nation they don't fucking come from? A nation they weren't born in? And we hold them up in Germany and say, hey, you guys can't come back. Fuck around and find out. That's the way we do business. Thanks, but hang on here. We got to make sure your paperwork's straight. Okay. Shot twice in an ATM, did a tour before. But let's wait, make sure his paperwork's straight, for sure. Good job. That was 2005. Okay, so that's how well INS was working then. I wonder how it's working now. So long story short, well, long story long, is I'm able to call, I could call him right now and he'll pick up the fucking phone and he'd come. He'd come here right now if I said I was in trouble. Brian Kalingi the cat, a man I respect more than anybody in the world. I love him and I'm grateful for him every day. In my top 5 people I pray for when I wake up, you, Mark, and him are in that. So is my brother Kenny. But I count my blessings today, dude. I'm counting my fucking blessings. I really, he didn't complain. What the fuck do I have to complain about right now? I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm clean and sober. I have everything I need. I really don't have much to complain about, you know? And a lot of that has to do with the people here. A lot of that has to do with me having to figure out that it's okay to be okay. You know, a lot of us have problems, especially addicts. We have problems figuring out the fact that our life is worth living. Life, period, is a beautiful fucking thing and it's worth living, but existence is expensive. You know, existence is expensive. Don't let anybody lie to you. You can't just, I mean, I wish we could just live for free, but it's expensive more than just a monetary way. It's more expensive in a way of we have to sacrifice and shed these fucking fears and these things we've convinced ourselves are true. We've sat here and told ourselves all this terrible shit about ourselves over and over and self-loathing and saying like, I'm not fucking worth it. I'm not good enough. I'm not. It's time to change the language, man. You have to wake up one day and say, I am. I'm beautiful. I'm okay. I'm nice. I'm kind. I love people. The way that I have been able to change in a meaningful way is that I look at my life now as a person that navigates consciously trying to end every interaction I have with another human being with, hopefully they have the feeling that they want to have an interaction with me again. Is it easy? No, because not everybody's the same. And some people don't want to have a fucking interaction with you. But at the very least, even if they don't, they won't say fucking prick, you know? Why don't we get into some characters? Can I lay out some characters for you, Mark?
Please.
Okay, we'll call it depictions of the war and the men that I know in it, that were in it. I can start with, let me start with one of the 2 greatest leaders I ever served under, okay? One, his name is Captain John Wellahan, and I hope he sees this video. John Wellahan was a E6 in the Moog. He was a medic in the Moog, Mogadishu, right? Half of his fucking files blacked out. This dude's a bad motherfucker. And then he joins the army and becomes an officer, right? So if you're in the military and, you know, most officers initially, not really respected, not really respectable. They're still figuring shit out, right? They need a enlisted guy to kind of coach them along on how to act. Well, this dude came from the enlisted ranks as a veteran, as a ranger, then joins and becomes an artillery commander. When we were in Afghanistan, my buddy David Gray, a guy my dad married, he was held this, my dad was like the ordained minister for him and his wife Sarah. And they have 3 beautiful children now, and he's like a sergeant major. He's still in the Army, he's still in the 82nd. He's moved around, but he still is Dave. So, Dave, they had a mission for this MP unit the night before. It was midsummer, I remember, and they're shooting loom rounds, which in a loom round is we're shooting 155 millimeter cannons. So a loom round is this fucking tall, and it's just a canister basically. It's empty, and it has a flare in there. So they fire it, and as it reaches its pinnacle, the flare releases, and then this canister. This is all calculated. The canister falls. And it's already calculated, like they do the math to make sure that canister doesn't fall on anything, right? So they shoot a fucking mission. like 9 aluminum rounds for this MP unit, right? And MPs are military police, right? These are guys that join the army to bust other people in the army, right? Gotta respect these guys. You know, they join the army to become cops and arrest other soldiers. That was their idea when they joined. Gotta love them. But they were doing some patrol, and we shoot aluminum rounds for him. Dave shoots like fucking 6 or 7 or 8, I can't remember. He shoots a handful, over 5 aluminum rounds for these guys. So the next day, some major comes from the command here at FOB Salerno, which is like 900 fucking people. It's not the kind of base you want to fuck around. You know, it's a lot of roughnecks. You know, it's grunt. It's all combat people. And this major comes down and he walks right onto our gun line. Right, a gun line is we had 6 howitzers, and the gun line is off limits to anybody that's not in the unit. That's like a known thing. It's like walking on a flight line. You know, you don't walk up to an Apache and start taking pictures. You know, you might get fucked up. So this major crosses the road, walks right up to the. He knew which set it was, he knew exactly which section fired the aluminum rounds. Walks right under the gun line, finds Dave and his guys, and starts calling them baby killers. This major did, because he said a man walked up with his dead daughter, which did happen, and said that our aluminum canister came through his house, blew it up, and killed his daughter. So 90.9% of that story is most likely false. What happened was this dude was probably making a goddamn IED, and it popped in his fucking house and it killed his kid. But he said, I know I can get a paycheck, because you bring a dead child to an American base and say, you guys did this, we pay you cash. Don't let anybody lie. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's exactly how it goes. 100%. We pay cash for your fucking dead. Being a rich country, man. So now Dave's locked up, and he's got all these guys at parade rest, and he's screaming in their fucking faces. You fucking killed a kid, you dumb shits. What the fuck is wrong with you? You dumb motherfuckers. We have to deal with this now. And Captain Wellahan isn't the type of dude you fucking walk up to his men and yell at. So he walks right up and says, sirs, if you don't remove yourself from this gun line, I'll fucking remove you myself. You don't talk to my men again. This is my gun line. I can legally throw you off of it. Get the fuck off my gun line. The commander of that gun line is in charge. And he can throw a general off, technically. But it's his gun line. If he says it's not safe for you to be there, you gotta get the fuck out. And he said, sir, I'm telling you, if you don't turn yourself the fuck around and get off of my gun line, in front of his men, he's saying it, right? I will remove you. He's basically saying, I'll knock you the fuck out, bro, right? And Captain Wellahan's from Tennessee. He's a country boy. That night, we heard about it, everybody hears about it. Oh my God, Captain Wellahan just told his major to go fuck himself, right? And Dave's like, bro, this guy just came down and said we killed a kid. So Dave and his section's all fucked up, right? They're thinking they did this terrible shit. This dumbass major just jumped the gun, basically. He thought he was special. I wish I knew his name so I could fucking call him out in public. But he was in our battalion. And Captain Wellahan that night, I remember it was pitch black. There was no moon. It was a pretty night. It was a nice night. But it was pitch black. We couldn't hear shit. And they call everybody at like 8:30 at night into formation. And that's different. That doesn't happen after dinner, you know? So we get the whole unit lined up. Everybody, he waits for every single person to get there. It must have taken an hour. He gets his whole unit lined up. And he has this in formation, and he lights up a fucking cigar. And he's in his t-shirt, no joke, with his Tennessee hat. And he lights up a fucking cigar. And he's walking up and down. All you can see is the glow to his cigar as he's walking up and down and hitting it. And he goes, men, I need you men to know something now. He says, when you make a mistake, it's my fault. When you do something right, it's yours. And he said, I will not be your commander for much longer. They're removing me from my command. But I want you men to know that I love you, and that I'm proud of you, and that you served honorably in front of me. And you're great men. You're great, man. I was 21 years old and I'd never been talked to like that. And I believed him because he was a great man. He is a great man. He said, when you do something wrong, it's my fault. When you do something right, it's yours. He took responsibility for everything that happened. He told Dave and his guys, you guys, don't you dare for 1 minute think you made a mistake. You did everything I've asked you to, and thank you for that. Thank you. I asked you to shoot those rounds. You shot them exactly how I asked you to. None of you made a mistake yesterday. None of you killed anybody. I did. I did. Ends up, we had this fucking genius named Lieutenant Tomlinson that did the math. And he said in order for our aluminum canister to have hit that house, the winds would have had to be over 300 miles an hour. Right? They removed him from command. We lost Captain Willihan, one of the biggest losses in my military career. And they promoted him. He became the commander of like Jump Master School or something. He got promoted because he's a bad motherfucker. You can't, you really can't harm somebody like that with it. He was just a bad man, like a badass. He's not a bad man. He's a great man. I fucking love him. We're friends on Facebook. That was the best commander I ever served under. Other than Captain Felix Rodriguez, who was more like a gazelle. This dude could run like. When I think of him, I still see like prancing as he runs because this guy goes like a fucking bird, man. He could fucking fly. Really respectable commander. He was my commander in Iraq. And we became friends because I worked directly under him for a moment, doing some things that he needed. And he was a great commander as well. I'm not going to say Yonda wasn't, but we just weren't on the same page. But okay, so then the craziest and best, let's go to the NCOs, right? The non-commissioned officers. I had a first sergeant named First Sergeant Jeffrey Robinson. Now this man, you imagine somebody who's been to Ranger School, he's done all this high-speed shit. But I don't know how to, like, if you could see a fucking hard dick walking down the street, that's this dude. He looked like he was made of leather, and he looked like he was somebody that just fucking worked out all day, every day. He was made of stone, and his face was made of leather. Handsome, but in a really, like, has been punched in the fucking face and punched the people. He just looked hard fucking core, and he talked like this, brother, hey! And he talked just like that. That's how he talked. And I remember the funniest thing I've ever heard a man say to another man, what came out of First Sergeant Robinson's mouth, Top Robinson. But this man also was a great father, a great husband, like somebody to really look up to as it came to who he was as a person, was admirable and commendable. But this dude literally used to tell this guy Nethers, I fuck harder than you run. You can go home and ask my wife. Now, when you're running in formation down a road in the morning and there's other people running by you and your first sergeant has somebody who's falling behind and he's yelling so loud that people at the fucking PX up the block can hear it, you piece of shit, I fuck harder than you run. How do you even fucking live with yourself? You know what? Call my wife. You call her now, you peel puss. And he's doing it with a dip of Copenhagen in his mouth. Running. You fucking pussy. With a dip of Copenhagen in his mouth, running miles. Like it's nothing, like it's not there. This man was made of pure fucking iron, sharpened into blued steel, right? This is the man that if he said, come on, let's go, everybody's like, for sure. That's the guy that I want to be around when shit's popping off. Because Top Robinson was the guy that, like, in Iraq, like when shit's going off, like, and sometimes you'd be driving and it would just start looking like Star Wars. The tracers are just going everywhere, every direction. He's the guy that gets out of the truck and is talking to people while bullets are fucking flying. That's this guy. He doesn't fucking blink. He doesn't wink. Nothing shakes him. He fucks harder than some people run. That's a fucking achievement in itself, man. That's an accomplishment I want to hand to this man. We argued over him having a pink shirt one time, and he called it salmon. And I said, what the fuck is salmon, bro? You're wearing a pink shirt. He said, don't fucking, Hutch, it's salmon, bro. And I said, oh, yeah, yes, sir. Roger that, Top. You got it. But when my dad came to visit, when we got back from Iraq, it was during All-American Week. And in the 82nd Airborne Division, All-American Week, everybody has to participate. But he knew I was getting out of the Army, and he knew my dad was older, and he really respected that. My father was a Vietnam vet, and he didn't make me go. He didn't make me go to All-American Week. I'm sorry my bad for diming you out, Top, and he was so sweet to my father. I'd never seen him talk like that to another person. I only seen him as this hardcore fucking, like, I want to fuck as hard as him. And he just softened up in the way he spoke to my dad, and just, don't worry about it, guys. Yeah, you guys go have fun and enjoy yourselves. And Hutch, don't worry about it. I love you, brother. These men will live with me for the rest of my life in the most beautiful way. Thank God. Thank God for them. Thank God that they exist. Because that's what I believe our country is made out of, people like this, where we come from he was from North Carolina. We come from all these different places, and we come from all these different backgrounds and all these different things. And in the end, if you're watching at the right time, you just see love come out of them, Even the hardest ones, it's in there. They're just sweet people. Okay, let's give you some contrast on First Sergeant Robinson and his sweet ass. In Afghanistan, okay, we had another character named Mike. I'll just say his last name. His name was Burkhalter, okay? Now, everybody in my unit that watches this is going to laugh their ass off just by saying the name Burkhalter. So Burkhalter, when I got there, had been in the Army for 4 years and was still a PFC, okay? And if you've ever met a real Forrest Gump, I'm not saying this offensively, Michael Burkhalter was a motherfucking Forrest Gump, dude. Because he's a boy from Texas, but he didn't speak English. But he didn't speak Spanish either. That's the deal. That's exactly how he got down. So when you're having a conversation with him, you need to make sure that statements only. Burkhalter, you need to go to the bathroom. And he's on, right? But this dude could run a 20K with a pack of Marlboros in his fucking mouth and win. He was just born able to run and smoke non-filtered cigarettes. God made this man to run. He could fucking run. And in the 82nd, that's something you got to do a lot. So Burkhalter would get in trouble a lot, but not really, because he'd put up these physical numbers, right? He could run like a motherfucking gazelle, just like Felix, Captain Rod. But so Burkhalter makes the mistake. A mistake that not many of us knew the consequences are. But First Sergeant Robinson made sure to make these consequences quite clear. So Burkhalter, what he did was he was on tower guard. And in the Army, there's only one of two ways you can still be fucking executed. By your own command team, right? And one of them, Burkhalter happened to pull off. If you fall asleep, he didn't pull it off completely, but we got the picture from First Sergeant Robinson. I'll paint it right now. If you fall asleep on tower guard and somebody sneaks by and kills another soldier, your punishment is death. Today, at least in 2005, according to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the UCMJ, you could be executed for that. So First Sergeant Robinson, no fucking joke, lines us all up and blindfolds this fucking dude and puts him up against a wall and explains to us that if you fall asleep on tower guard and somebody dies, you can be fucking executed. And he goes, ready? Aim! This dude shit his fucking... With a blindfold on, a tie behind his back. Just to prove a point. He wanted to prove the point that if you fucking get somebody hurt on my watch, I'll fucking kill you. Right here. When we got there, okay. So when we get to Afghanistan, in April, it was April 14th, we got to Afghanistan, 2005, okay? The unit that was there before us that we were taking over for was from Hawaii. I think I cannot remember who they were, 25th, maybe. I can't remember who they were from. But they had somebody, an E5, that had passed away while on duty, on tour. But it wasn't the way that you would think. He decided he was going to correct a weapon malfunction in front of the weapon. So this guy, it's a SAW, a squad automatic weapon. It gets a jam, it's on a turret. He stands in front of it, barrel into his fucking chest, opens the feed tray, removes the jam, puts another round in, slams the fucking feed tray, not knowing that there's a round in the bolt that's already retracted. Slams the feed tray, bolt flies forward, feeds the round, fires it, and kills him. And they have this huge like memorial thing, right? Well, Top Robinson ain't playing no dumb shit. So as soon as the unit leaves, he goes over there and fucking tears the shit out of this fucking thing. Get this fucking shit out of my sight. And we're all like, yo, what's up, dude? And he goes, I'm not going to fucking glorify a dipshit. Thank God for this man. We need more like him in the world. He said, this is a poster for how to kill yourself being stupid. That's First Sergeant Robinson. That's First Sergeant Robinson. We got the Burkhalter, Kalangi. We can talk. So I'm in Iraq, right? And I'm on a mission with my buddy Rick and James and a set that I used to love deploying with, right? And that I used to go on mission with a lot. And we find an IED, and it's literally 50 fucking feet from, we stop, we see it, my buddy Rick sees it, halts convoy, pull 2 trucks up, and there's an Iraqi police station across the street from it. So, we have a Kurdistani fucking interpreter. Now, if you've ever met a Kurdistani person, these fucking people are like the Israelis. You cannot kill them. They will fight to the last man, woman, and child. The Kurds are who fucking fought off ISIS. The Kurds are based in Iraq and fought all the way into Syria. Men and women. These are the bravest fucking people in the world. But the Kurds didn't play. They don't play, but they spoke Arabic. So our interpreter is like, no, fuck that. These guys know exactly who put that there. So we're going to make them remove it. EOD is now Iraqi police today. Now, these Iraqi policemen knew exactly what the fuck was across the street. They knew that shit was an IED, right? But my buddy Rick is telling the interpreter, no. Tell him to pick it up. First, the interpreter makes the guy get butt naked and starts hitting him with something, right? Because he's like, because he knew what was going on. And he was really pissed off at this dude for knowing what was going on. So he's hitting this guy, and the guy's butt naked. And we're like, no. We don't know if you have a weapon. Take your pants off. The whole thing, right? So then we're like, hey, you need to remove that IED. You know who fucking put it there. And my buddy Rick is filming this. And he's like, no. And the guy gets up and he kicks it, right? No. Pick it up and throw it. So this guy is literally urinating on himself naked, and he has to pick up this fucking live IED and walk it as far as he can. And then the interpreter said, okay, stop, wait, hold it. Let's get in the trucks and go. That happened in real life. I watched that happen. This man get butt-ass naked, have to pick up an explosive device that he knows is meant for us, and hold it 100 feet off the road as we drove by. We're putting the spotlights on him as we're driving. The 9s, right? Because fuck him. Fuck them anyways, dude. The fuck? They're wearing Glocks. Where do you think they got those? Where'd they get the Glocks, I can tell you. The old US of A. Same place that, we donated so many munitions to Afghanistan for the Taliban. It's so beautiful. It's amazing how good we are at walking away from war. We do it by handing weapons to the bad guys. So that's just one example of like how things can work out when you're on the road. I have two more pretty good ones that I like to talk about. It's not about, I don't know any Rambos. I just know real people, actual human beings that lived, that I knew actually, not just looked them up on Google. So we're driving our convoy. This is the same. No, it was two different convoys. It was one after the other. So the first convoy, okay, I'll tell the funny story first and then the other one next, okay? So we're driving to a place called Anaconda. And Anaconda was a base, I believe, I cannot remember if it was outside of Tikrit or Kirkuk, but it was north of Baghdad. And this place was so big, it was an Air Force base. It was so big, it was broken up into quadrants, okay? And if mortars were hitting one quadrant, the other three weren't even alerted. That's how big this base was. I seen a C5 land. You can hear that bitch coming from fucking Mississippi, dude. If you ever heard a C5 land, it's unmistakable. It screams for days. But we're driving. We just get out of a place called Taji, and we're pulling north, and we pull around Baghdad, and we don't have to stop in Baghdad this time. We're going straight through. So sometimes we'd spend the night in Bayat, Baghdad International Airport. That's where Saddam had like a solid gold toilet. And like this dude was so nuts. Saddam was so crazy that in one of his palaces in Baghdad that I saw, he'd walk out of his front door. As far as I remember, maybe this wasn't his house. I don't know. Could have been Uday or Kuday's, but he had 52 pathways on a man-made lake that was small, like a golf course lake. 52 pathways that walked to these little houses. So he had 52 of them in a 180-degree turn, right? From when he walked out of his house. And that was for every Monday, I'm guessing, when he would leave his palace, he would walk and there would be some poor man's daughter in there who had never been with a man before, kidnapped from their family and held in this little house until Saddam wanted to have his way with her that week. 52 weeks in a year. That's the kind of sick fuck we were talking about, When it comes to thinking of that kind of shit, I don't mind that we were there. That kind of shit makes me okay with us invading that country. But then again, I think of, all the profits that were made. Here's a story. So, a friend of mine named Montaigne, and everybody in our shit knows who I'm talking about. He was driving in an APC, an armored personnel carrier, that it was made for the Arctic. I can't remember what these fucking things were called. It was made for the Arctic, but it worked really well in the desert because it was airtight, right? So the AC worked. But he's in one of these, he was a truck commander, so he was in the passenger side. And as they are passing a streetlight, there's an EFP. Remember that thing I talked about last time? Inside of the pole, cut out and ready for him to drive by. And as he passed it, that fucker blew. And it came straight through his armored personnel carrier, hit him in the hip, and split him like that. Okay? He lived because of this guy, Doc Johnson, who I'll describe later. It literally split him in half. Legitimately. Like colostomy bag for the rest of his life. He's a hero in my eyes. And then it bounced off his hip bone, so it was burning so hot it came right through the steel. But our bone is a lot harder to burn, I guess, because it hit him in the hip, split him, and bounced out and went right out the other side. This thing is burning so fucking hot that the ambient air inside of the truck was expunged from the heat. So they're all suffocating, right? So all the doors, his smoking door pops open. He falls out half, like literally his left hip is holding him together. You could see his spine on both sides, right? Because it burned his fucking uniform half off. So he falls out of the truck and they're escorting refrigerated trucks, So it was illegal for us to look inside any vehicle we were escorting. And I'll tell you why. So, you know, a couple of us decided, no, fuck this. I want to know why my buddy's split in half, laying on the ground dying. I want to know what it's for. Bolt cutters, crack, pop the lock, crack it open, pull that frig open, and 6 of us are sitting there looking in the back of this truck. And what do you think we see? Taco Bell, Burger King, and fucking Pizza Hut. That's what was in the truck in front of him. And he's sitting there bleeding out in the fucking road for it. Now tell me who signed up for that? And then on the base, I'm paying $8 a Whopper. A pizza's $22. A fucking bean burrito with red sauce and onions is like $6. Little did they tell us we were the fucking people dying to bring it there. Listen, I'd rather go without a Whopper and have one less mission. I'd rather go without Taco Bell and not have this man split in half. I don't know about you guys. Do many people know that was going on? AFES had a contract with these fucking companies and we're dying to bring it to, it's comfort. It's comfort though, right? You know, the big bases need their comforts. I wasn't on some fucking comfortable base, you know? I mean, I was in the end, yeah, but I couldn't buy, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it because I know what's happening. So that's the kind of profit people don't realize we're being made. It's not just Halliburton and Dick Cheney. Taco Bell, pizza, Pepsi Cola was making a fucking killing, dude. A killing off of our boys and girls dying. Fuck you, Pepsi Cola. Fuck you, for real. I drink Coke, bitch. So, the medic saved his life by laying down a poncho and wrapping him in it. Put him back together, squeezed him together like he was made of clay, and wrapped him in a poncho and tied it on both sides. Saved his life. A guy named Doc Johnson, a white kid. He never made it past PV2 his whole career because the shit that boy saw and had to deal with made him a fucking crazy person. And if you went to the DFAC with Doc Johnson, if you're going to the DFAC to eat dinner, don't sit within 5 feet of him because he's swinging at somebody. He just loved it when somebody would ask him a question and he just fucking hit him in the mouth. Pow! Doc, why are you fighting fuck him? That's how he dealt with it. He was a 20-something-year-old kid. Pulling a guy that's in a V, pulling him together, and wrapping him in a poncho and tying it to save his life. How do you even fucking think of that? How do you even fucking think of that? When I was in Afghanistan, they sent like me and 8 other guys to this like advanced, like it was like a medical course, like a course to become like a baby mini medic, right? And this is how genius these fucking guys are. Our last day, it's like test day, right? And it's like 110 degrees outside, but it's 70 degrees. We're like 80 degrees inside the AC building we were in, right? That we're doing all our last lessons and shit. So they get the genius fucking idea to keep the IV bags that we're gonna have to test on each other to make sure we can give each other IVs inside the AC. So it's time for testing. So we go outside and we have to pretend to be casualties, right? So half the class pretends to be casualties and then you switch, right? Then the other half treats you and see if they can handle their business. So we were the second half. No, we were the first half, I believe. Second, I can't remember. I just remember I passed the class because they almost killed us. So what they do is they take these fucking IV bags that are like almost 40 degrees different from the ambient temperature outside. They keep us outside for 25 minutes to acclimate, and then they fucking give us these IVs. How many people do you think went into shock? Every single one of us. We didn't know what was wrong. We had no clue what was wrong, except it was ice going into our veins, and then we could, I can't fucking breathe, man. Something's, hey, help. These are the guys that are treating. We're supposed to be triage, and they're like, no, stop playing. You know, like they thought we were trying to like exacerbate our role as a fucking pretending to be somebody that's, you know, needs triage. No, they almost killed us. I passed that class. It was good. I have a certificate in the car I could show you. These stories, they get me rolling. Oh, here's a funny one. So we're driving, and me and my buddy Rick, we're the rear security vehicle, right? So we're watching from behind, the whole convoy. You can see the whole convoy. And I'm driving, and I'm like, Rick, you see that? And he's like, yeah, I fucking saw that. And we saw like 8 tracers go into the convoy, nothing else. From the right side, nothing. That's all we saw, right? So we're calling up, and we're hey, anybody else did anybody get shot? Anybody's truck hit? Any of the 18? Nope. But we only have 4 no's out of 5 trucks, right? And then the gunner for truck number 3 is the one who answers. Not the TC, the truck commander who's supposed to be on the radio. The gunner does. Nope, nothing happened here. Oh, like, that's a little weird. Rick, you smell that? And he's like, yeah, I smell that. It smells like fucking diesel fuel, man. And we're escorting, half the trucks were oil tankers. We're fuel tankers. Man, I smell fucking diesel fuel, dude. He's like, bro, it fucking reeks back here. And I'm like, hey, we call up and we go, hey, is the road wet up there? And the first 2 trucks are like, nope. The 3rd truck, nope. The 4th truck is like, yeah, it's fucking wet. The road's wet, soaked. And me and Rick were like, hey man, I think somebody's fucking truck got shot up. One of these fucking fuel tankers got shot the fuck up. And they're like, hey, they're calling back by truck. 3rd truck, the gunner gets, nope, right? So it's time to pull into Taji. No, this is one of the times we were going to Anaconda. And on the way to Anaconda, when you're north of Baghdad, that base, on the road out of it, you have to swerve like this because there's fucking potholes from IEDs going off that'll swallow your truck. That would swallow an 18-wheeler, dude. I'm talking about, it looked like it was bombed. And it's every 10 feet. You're swerving around these holes, right? You can't get onto the base unless you play the gauntlet, And I'm just like, you're just waiting in between holes for that part to go up, right? Because you could see where that had happened all the way down the fucking line. And we're like, man, one of these goddamn fucking trucks got shot up. And nope. And we're like, all right, fine, right? So we pull into the base Anaconda, and we, of course, outsourced everything there. But the people that manned the actual gates and the things that you have to use to like the barriers that you have to navigate around to get in on the base was manned by Ugandan citizens, Ugandans from Uganda. So by the time me and Rick get we're pulling into the base, and you can imagine what we're looking at. I'm looking at about 20 fired the fuck up Ugandans dripping in diesel fuel. Furious. These men are furious. So what we didn't know was truck number 3, Garza, you fucking dick, fell asleep. The truck commander fell asleep, and the gunner was just, looking out for him. So the truck in front of them had got fucking peppered. Had gotten rattled. Chinese catered that shit. Got hit like 9 times. So this fucking truck is spitting diesel fuel out 20 feet out of these bullet holes. And as the fucking truck pulls in, because nobody's saying anything's wrong, the poor fucking Ugandans that are watching it are just getting doused in diesel fuel. Finally, we get all the way in and find out what happened. And this dude was like, no, I wasn't asleep. It's like, how the fuck didn't you see the goddamn diesel fuel coming out like a super soaker in the 90s? How did you not fucking catch that, bro? But that was probably one of the funniest things I'd ever seen, was these Ugandans looking at us with a stare of death and just diesel fuel dripping down their fucking face, dude. And soaking clothes. They're yelling, they're throwing their shit in the air, they're pulling their clothes off. And it was wet. It looked like somebody was like the water trucks that keep the dust down. It looks like somebody was going through that fucking entrance. Somebody with goddamn diesel fuel, man. There was I could sit here and talk about all the times we shot at human beings. I could tell you all about that. When you see a muzzle flash, and listen, they call the 50 cal the Ma-Deuce. And it's the second machine gun the United States Army ever came out with. And it is the most effective machine gun we use today. It has a 5.5-foot barrel. My brother had a bullet at the house that I wanted to show you, but the round, I have a knife that might be able to give you a small, okay, if you take a lighter and you were to stack it 3 times, that's about the size of a 50 cal round. and it's as round as a dime, a little smaller. You know, I'm sure all the fucking Call of Duty kids will act like they were there and tell me all about how I'm wrong, but you weren't Call of Duty kids. Because if you've ever been around a 50 cal when it shoots, a 50 cal machine gun, when it shoots, you understand that that's when God talks. And that's exactly how his voice sounds. Because when that fucking machine gun starts barking, God's talking and nobody's walking. I've seen it cut a house in half. Like it wasn't fucking there. Swiss cheese shit. I've seen it take a car, one round go through a car from one to the other, right out the back. A depleted uranium round. Like it wasn't there, dude. Through engine blocks. Pow, like it wasn't there. And when I said we use large weapon systems on our vehicles, every single vehicle either had a 50 cal with a 240 or a 249 next to it, or it had a Mark 19 with a 240 or 249. A 240 is a 240 Bravo. That's what replaced the M60. A 249, and that shoots a 7.62 or a 308, whatever you want to call it. Like, and then a 249 shoots a 5.56, same as an M4 or an AR-15, a 5.56 or 223, whatever. I could sit here and tell you all day about how we'd see a muzzle flash and somebody would give out a distance direction. I hear that fucking 50 cal talking, and that muzzle flash goes right the fuck away. Legally, I guess in the Geneva Convention, you're not like allowed to shoot at people with the 50 cal, but you can shoot at their hat, you can shoot at their clothing, you can shoot at their weapon, you can shoot at their canteen, you can shoot at their watch, you can shoot at their necklace, but you cannot shoot them. But if you're wearing clothes, you might get shot with a 50 cal. And people like to talk about this, but it is actually a true principle. So you know the principle based on if you stand too close to a train while it's going by, it'll suck you in. Well, the same thing works for bullets. If the 50 cal fires, it's supersonic, right? And it's moving, it's so big, as it moves by you, it's capable of removing a limb without touching you. So how fucking fast and hard it breaks the air around, it creates a vacuum that could tear your fucking torso half off. Just passing by. I've never heard a ricochet of a 50 cal. You don't hear about that. If anybody's heard that, I'm guessing they are dead, because it doesn't go, if you hear it, it's going to kill you. So when that fucking thing starts going off, you can feel it in your chest 15 feet away. The machine gun's standing behind it. And every truck has one of these, So I could sit here and tell you all day about the destructive power that we have created in order to kill each other. And I could tell you I've witnessed it personally. I've participated in it personally. I don't think it's cool to say, hey, I've taken life. I don't, man. It's not something that makes me... It has created the person that I am today, who I'm super grateful for. Going through that experience. But to sit and talk about it braggingly, to me seems ignorant. To me seems a little fucking misplaced. If you want to talk about war, talk about how it affected you as a person. What did it do to the people you were... What about the people on the other side of that goddamn 50 cal, man? I can't imagine... Because I never had a 50 cal shot at me. I can't imagine the fear in somebody's heart when they heard that sound. Because that seriously sounds like God talking, man. It sounds like thunder. And if it was pointed at me, God, I would shit my fucking pants. But there were men that stood up bravely and fucking fired their weapons at us, not knowing they were about to get chopped to fucking half. But that's exactly how it went. We could sit there and I could tell you there was a guy named somebody and he did a lot of cool killing and he really was a badass and he killed a lot of people cool, like, rah, rah, rah. But that's not reality. It's not reality. Reality doesn't look like that. Reality doesn't work like that. Reality doesn't have nicknames like that. And if it did, I sure as fuck wouldn't take my truck off-roading to go do it. I don't know how well you can shoot at people while your truck's going like this. And if you ever get off of a road anywhere, it's usually how it goes, right? I'm sorry. I was just. Sometimes I'll get personal when I think something's a little off. You know, the commander's driver wasn't usually the man that saw the most action, just to be honest. But he did leave the wire, I'm sure. You know, the commanders do that. They do that sometimes. But they're definitely not the badasses of the group. Guys like Kalangi the fucking cat are the badasses. A dude that can get blown up and fucking dust his goddamn firing shoulders off and just say, why me, fucking shit, man? Fuck, why me, fucking guys, man, they fucking try to kill me all the time. Now he was yelling that out loud on the road, man. Fuck you, you fucking try to kill me, fuck you. My best friend. He's my best friend, dude. We play pool, we shoot darts all the time in my house. I fucking love the guy. He has he still doesn't complain. He's the only man that I'll listen to, man, because he's like, I'll say something, and he's a fucking asshole. He'll wait. And he won't say shit. Have you ever asked somebody a question about like something serious in life, and they fucking do that? What I didn't realize is whenever this man opens his fucking mouth, gold's falling out. You know, because he's such a humble person that has been through. The guy's got 9 goddamn lives, dude. He's down to 7. He's wasted. 7 are gone, and he's got 2 left. And what a fucking beautiful hero. That's a hero in my eyes, man. When I think of a soldier, I think of guys like fucking First Sergeant Robinson, Captain Willihan, Kalangi the fucking cat. I don't think of myself. You know, I don't. I think of men that I fucking will admire till the end of time. You know, the image I have of these people will never change. You know, people could get up in the comments and say, oh, I know that guy, he's a blah, blah. I don't care. I don't care what the fuck you think. These men are the real life heroes out there, you know? The guys that, they're not even citizens, dude. They weren't even born afforded the fucking freedoms and things we have, but still fought for it. Because he said this, he explained it to me the other day. He said, I didn't want to just become a citizen, I wanted to earn it. Are you fucking kidding me? I was born blessed with fucking the United States of America and all that it's given me. You know, the Constitution and what it's afforded me, just that document. He said he wanted to earn it. So he joined our military and went to war 3 fucking times and got shot in an ATM between the first 2. And he still doesn't think he deserves it. And we sit and we complain about the fucking most mundane bullshit. I didn't get this. I didn't, I don't, I want, I need, he's not even a fucking citizen. He wasn't even a fucking citizen, man. And I've never heard him say he deserves anything. He never says, I got this coming to me. He works with vets. He works with disabled vets, helping them get their disability rating, you know? I don't know how good he is at it. He's not really a people person. He doesn't say much. He's a man of very few words. But when he talks, everybody listens, you know? That happens when you get a fucking name like calling me the cat, you know? But all that stuff, all these stories, all these things are just, that's exactly what they are. They're just stories. But the things that I learned more from those experiences today than I did then, right? Because I view the world differently. I view the world as a place of people that are figuring out how to love their life and people that are lost, right? And those of us that are lost are incapable, in my opinion, of sifting through their pain and where the pain has come from. And that's why I think therapy is so good for people, you know, especially for like, we're not going to fix this fucking shit unless we really get down to what you talk about, the kids, and how we raise them and how to avoid mistreatment and how to talk to them and how to, you know, it's not like it was, you know, it's not not the 80s anymore. It's not the 90s anymore. It's not even the early 2000s. Bush is gone. We have to be okay with other people not being okay. We really do. And by okay, I don't mean, oh, that's all right. I mean like, yo, this is real. You know, I know, like accepting it as okay. Not accepting it like as okay, but accepting it for what it is. For exactly what it is. And it's a lot of fucking human beings in a lot of fucking pain. And if I can bring any relief to that, that's all I want to do for the rest of my life. I've created enough pain. I've caused people pain. And that's not who I am. That's not who I am. That's not who I am. You know, the world, you know, a lot of concrete jungles will turn you into a fucking hard person, man. And I wasn't born to be like that, you know? Oh, I'm getting my tattoo removed.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Homeboy Industries is doing it. Like they have these people these cool ass laser doctors that just volunteer time like pro bono. And this kid that I attend. I don't think I can stay clean by myself. I need help, right? So I reached out to a good friend of mine named DJ that owns that runs a place called NoHo Recovery, and his buddy Ryan and I can't remember the owner's name, but NoHo Recovery is like a fucking man. They got a recording studio. They have like this huge like $30,000 like t-shirt making machine and shit, because they know that when people get clean and sober, they need more than just not loaded. They need to figure out what they like in life, what they love in life. And you know, our first interview, it's funny because like, I'm glad that we had that fucking talk, Mark, because I do know exactly what I want to do. And I'm actually trying to reach that. That's a goal for me, is to work in treatment again at a good, healthy, legal place that's not shady. And, you know, my brother actually wants to come on and talk to you about like body brokers. Have you ever heard of that expression?
Yep.
Our mutual friend was a body broker, the one that introduced us. Mm-hmm. Now, these are sick fucks, man. These people run around and they'll take junkies and promise them the world just to get them in treatment so they can get a quick check.
Money is king.
Yeah, man. Money is a motherfucker, man. Money, you know what though? Money helps things get comfortable. But if I was fucking strung out and all fucked off when I got the money that people donated, that money wouldn't do anything but hurt me. That shit would have fucked me up. It would have been the most harmful thing.
Yeah, it's like everything needs to be in moderation.
Right, and if you're not in the right place to have money, you know when you're in the right place to have money because you keep it. You know, it goes to what you need and that's it. And when it's gone, you don't have any feelings about it. That's how you know you spent your money right, is when it's gone, you have no feelings left or right, you know? I'm just barely learning these things in this age, but my son has the best version of his father he's ever had. And my God, it's amazing. When I wake up early now, and my son now is like, he wants to be out of bed now. As soon as I wake up, because usually I let him sleep for like another, you know, because I'll get up at like 6. I don't know about you, bro. But like, and he'll want to crash back out, but no. He wants to know, what's up? What are we doing? Is it school? Is it time? Are we going to school? What's up? What's up, Dad? What are we doing? And he just wants to be around me. When usually he was like, you know, let Dad do his thing, you know? What do you do, man? When, like, what do you complain about? Man, I love the life I have, bro. I love the people in this world. I love the people in my life. I love the people I don't fucking know, man. I believe that love is the only thing that will fix the shit that we see on this channel. How else are we supposed to do it? Like, if you have pain and cold in your heart, you're fucking not okay. You need help. You need fucking help. If you're negative and you literally wake up thinking about somebody else being in pain, you're wrong. You're wrong. That's not living. You're not alive. how do we figure it out again? How do we figure it out? Look at what just happened. Like, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. As I get better, the world around me is getting worse, and it's scaring the fuck out of me, man. Because I just sit here told you about war and how it's not pretty. It's not fun. Men can get lined up and shot over it. You know? And we're encouraging it as much as possible. Oh, they did fucking kill them! Until somebody lays you on the fucking ground and hacks you up 6 times with a machete, like it's happened to me, right? In Hawaii. Shut your fucking ego up, man. Shut your fucking ego up. I don't want to hear about how cool it'll be to go to war. I don't want to hear about how they all need to die because of what they did. I sat on the ground for 3.5 hours and begged a man for my life. Begged a man for my life. See that? You see that? That's 1 out of 7. That's me putting my hands out and saying, please don't kill me. And he tried to cut my fucking hand off. And he hit me there. I learned some things from that experience. I learned that everything I thought I was, everything I thought, who I thought I was, went right out the window. All the shit that I'd learned before, every fight I'd ever been in, every combat situation, everything failed me in that moment when I tripped over a tire and hit my back and said, fuck. It was so scary when I tripped and I seen this 4.5-foot machete come up on this dude's arm, and I put myself in that situation. I egged it on. I started the fucking fight, not knowing the dude was holding the goddamn sword, you know? But my anger and my ego placed me in that position. You know? I'm not gonna say, and let's just say I wasn't the only person watching. I wasn't the only person there. Somebody, my son watched. He had to be there. He was there and he witnessed it. Go ahead and complain about all the bullshit you got going on. Every single morning I wake up clean or sober, I literally say, oh fuck, thank God, yes. Yes, I'm up. I made it another day, you know? Because with all this chaos, with everything that goes on around us that we count as wrong, there's so much more things that are happening that are made from love and beauty. Like, God didn't design us to fucking kill each other, man. I don't care what anybody says. There's some guy that he literally started his own fucking YouTube channel based on Hutch being dumb about saying war is unnatural. Yo, guy, you ain't never fucking been, obviously, dipshit. Because if you think it's fucking natural to kill people, you should be separated from the rest of us. Separated. In your own fucking island where you think it's okay to go kill over there. But leave the rest of us who want to live in love and fucking peace and harmony and fucking figure this shit out somehow alone. Please. Don't come near my kid. Don't go spouting that fucking rhetoric around my son. Don't go talking war. There's no such thing as humanitarian aid that ends in weapons. Sending a missile to somebody to kill people with isn't humanitarian fucking aid. Where have we lost our way, man? Where have we lost our way when we say, hey, we got this much money in humanitarian aid? Humanitarian aid is now being used by people we have elected. We have elected these people who say humanitarian aid is bombs and bullets? Maybe I've lost my way by thinking this way. I don't know. Maybe I'm the one that's all twisted up and fucking stupid by thinking, yeah, we gotta help those people go to war. Fuck you guys, man. Fuck you fucking people that are so ignorant. You don't know what war is. You don't understand it. It's a man blown the fucking half begging for his fucking mom. The things that were coming out of that kid's mouth, nothing about it spoke humanitarian aid to me. You know what it didn't? It made me put my fingers in my ear, turn around and walk away because I could not listen to that man beg for his life anymore on the ground, and I couldn't do anything for him. I remember there was so much blood. There's so much blood in the fucking human body, man. There was a Red Bull can that when he fucking came out of his truck in half, there was a Red Bull can on the ground, and it was like this, man. That much of it was blood. Like it was floating in his fucking blood. And for all you humanitarian aid people, when somebody gets hurt like that it starts to turn pink. The blood's still trying to coagulate, you know? So it gets this like white foam, this like white pink foam on top of it, you know? It's not like the movies where it just pours out evenly. There's nothing beautiful about it. There's nothing pretty about it. I cannot think about it in any way other than fucking carnage, man. I don't hear humanitarian aid in his screams for his mom, in his screams for his kids, in his screams for his life. You know, when I was down there begging this dude for my fucking life, please don't fucking kill me, dog. I'm sorry, bro. Please don't kill my kid. And he said, I remember my son was screaming, like, please don't kill my daddy. And he goes, shut that mud up or I'll kill him too. And my son went silent for 3 hours. He was sitting in my truck watching me get hit with this machete over and over and over. And the guy had a friend with him standing over my shoulder. So for all the ones that are like, oh, I would have, trust me, you wouldn't have. Sorry. There was no getting out of it. And here's the crazy part. As the cops drove by, I told them, hey, hide your machete. I'm going to sit up so they don't know what's going on. Because I didn't want them to take my kid. I knew this guy I didn't think he was going to kill me because I didn't try to kill him at all. He didn't bleed a drop. But what I did was over the top. And I was fucking talking shit to him. That's the best part. I'm talking cash shit to this dude. He's a bitch, he's a punk, he's a blah, blah, blah. That goddamn sword came up and guess who was the bitch, the punk, the blah, blah, blah. This fucking guy, man. This guy. And then my fucking brain went to my kid. There's a machete between me and my son, and I'm on the ground. And a dude talking about he's gonna kill us. I could have used some humanitarian aid. Right? I mean, fuck, I could have used a goddamn cluster bomb. That's the other thing. How is it that cluster bombs are inhumanitarian? Like they're not humane when the Russians are using them, but it is when we are stockpiled with them and send them to Ukraine because we want to give them our old shit. In humanitarian aid, of course. Bags of rice and bullets. Where are we, man? To where when Israel gets attacked, the world wants to go to war. We're still seeing this as a solution, huh? We're still seeing this as a solution. Killing other people is a solution. Where are the sound minds? Where are the level heads? Where are the people talking about this, like, for the reality it is? Where are the vets? Where are my bros at saying, y'all don't want any part of this shit. You guys don't want any fucking part of this. You think it's cute because you play video games. I've had dudes try to school me on shit that I've done based off of fucking Call of Duty. Oh yeah, it was like when you were like this, did you have this weapon? And I'm like, bro, this is their thumbs working, you know? And they really think they're there because they play these games so much. The ironic thing is this. Right before we were leaving Iraq, they came out with this weapon system called a CROW system, Crew Remote Operated Weapon, okay? Or something, CAB. It was literally, the gunner sat behind the driver and he had a screen. And you know what kind of controller he had in his hand? An Xbox controller. And he could zoom a 50 cal, God's breath. He could zoom it in up to a mile, and it had thermal imaging. It had night vision capabilities, and there was no gunner sitting out of the roof. It could do 360 degrees in 6 seconds. Xbox remote. Why do you think they did that? Why do you think they used the Xbox remote? There's a good reason for it. I promise. Because, you know, it's easy to turn that into somebody's reality. It's easy to go from the video game to the It's just a screen, It's not people on the other side of that. No, man. Everybody was made by two people. All of us that live here had two people that put us here. Even if both your parents are dead, there's somebody's gonna fucking miss you, So every life that's taken, somebody is devastated by that. I guarantee. Of course there's those fucking loners and stuff, but every single life that is taken devastates somebody. Devastates somebody that was not the person that was intended to be devastated. So for those people that are like eager to get out there and be a part of a war, or eager to get out there and run it back, or fucking slide, or do whatever it is that you're trying to do, you're gonna have to live with it, man. And to live with it is to have to hear the voices of those people that are devastated in your mind without ever meeting them. Because if you don't hear those voices, you need to be separated from the rest of us. You do. Because then you're not learning from something that everybody should know is wrong. You're not learning. And I've learned. And if there's something I've learned, it's that peace is worth it. Peace is worth it. It's worth it, Mark. I promise. I think it's all I got, dude.
Awesome. Hutch, you're amazing.
I love him, dude. I do.